keep dying like that. Holy crap.
Oh yeah, I see that.
I don't know why. My internet.
Oh,
Oh, it's
it's
back.
back.
Yeah, my internet is like crapping out or something. I don't know. At least I'm keeping it. I saw it like blip out. I'm like, hold on a second. Anyways, we're back. Everyone refresh your page if you need to.
Yeah. What else? On his way home, he sees that there's also an army of Koloss on the way to the city.
Oh, a
So,
third army
you
has
know,
hit Luthadel.
just more good things.
And then
Yeah. Oh, and then there's apparently an imposter within the group
Oh
that we
yeah.
still didn't find out yet, even in
Yeah.
chapter 3. But I guess we're
Mhm.
getting close because she's narrowed. Vin has
Wait, were
narrowed
there two
down
sets of bones or one set of bones?
2 sets.
Two sets. So does that
Just
mean
one
there's
set of
two?
bones.
I
One set
know.
of bones.
Was there?
Yeah. So it's like the bones, the
The old bones.
Yeah.
Oh,
Khandra
the old
left
bones.
behind
I
after
mean,
he
okay.
ate another set of bones. Or
Okay,
another
okay.
body, I mean.
Okay. So there's 2 sets, but one Khandra.
But one Khandra. Okay.
Yes.
Do you guys have any theories of who the spy is, though?
Well, who did she narrow out already? Like, who's left, basically? Because I felt like she narrowed out everyone except Ham, possibly? Or maybe she
She
already
did
did that
him.
super early. Okay, then
You
who's
couldn't
left?
like fully clear Docs because he's not an Allomancer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she still has questions
I
about
feel like Docs
Demo.
technically makes the most
Yeah.
sense to be this, like, the imposter.
Because he was super close to their
Yeah.
operations.
Yeah.
I really did believe,
Or
though, that Captain Demo or whatever was the guy.
And then he reveals it.
Mhm.
And then he reveals he's just
Yeah,
like
it
a
yeah.
religious nut, so.
yeah.
Yeah. Which I mean,
Yeah.
fine, sure, you can keep that secret too.
Yeah, he
back
was
to
my first guess, like, when it first happened, but it seems like that like, I feel because she had that thought and then saw that, it'd be like, "Nah, it's too easy."
Mm-hmm.
You know?
yeah, it has to be a non-allomancer, so that kind of only leaves a couple people.
What if it's Elend? Like,
It'd
she
be
had that
crazy if
thought.
it was
But I
L.
want to know
Like,
how and, like,
he's...
who, you know?
But it's like, what character can he kill? And we wouldn't be so sad that he's dead.
Oh, I'm sure we're
Or
going to
she's
be
dead.
hella sad to find out that
Wait,
someone's dead.
if it was anyone in the main crew, though, like, that shit would hit, like...
That's why if it was Demo, I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, I don't really care too much. Like, sad, but I understand.
Yeah. Oh, is the other one she hasn't cleared clubs yet, right? I think that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
But Clubs is like
I feel like
a bronze, like he burns bronze, right?
yeah, so it's a bit harder. I don't know how she's gonna do that, but or I think, like, maybe was he, like, with them at the time? She had, like, narrowed people down by, like, who was there
In the
at the
carriage.
time. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
remember if he was on the, like, wall with them.
I honestly don't remember either right now.
Yeah, I can't really say from all the names that we've had who it would. Maybe one of the assembly members.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was also... I
Yeah.
feel like taking over one of the assembly members, I feel like Penrod is definitely mad
Right?
sus right now.
He's sus.
But the bones were found in the castle, which
True.
means it would have been someone in the castle, which the assembly members I don't think are typically there. I guess maybe they
True.
could have gone.
I mean, technically, they could
and
have
then
killed whoever in the castle. Technically.
yeah, but like if the assembly members were there for some reason, it doesn't seem like they're typically there. So maybe I don't know, or it's
Or it could be a
like
random
someone
staff member, and then it will
less.
save us from
Yeah,
shedding tears later.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's still a mystery. We meet the mystery watcher for real.
Zane.
His
I
name
knew
is
you guys were
Zane,
gonna.
which I think is a hilarious name for being in this world.
Yeah.
I knew you guys were gonna like the name.
I think I wrote a note about that too. I was like, this.
Oh, it's Zane and
It's so silly.
Zayden.
Yeah. It's giving, like bad boy love interest.
Yeah. I was like,
And didn't he
yeah.
introduce himself as he's insane too? So I was like, ooh, just
He
how I
is
like
though.
him.
Oh my god, the chapter we were in his brain, I was like, yo, this guy is like actually certified crazy.
Yeah. God's telling him to kill everybody.
That was hilarious though. I was like, oh, he actually has someone saying
Yeah.
that in his mind.
He
I'm
crazy.
interested to like know more of like who is God to him though, because
Mhm.
like in this world of people, like their God was the Lord ruler, but he's not. It doesn't seem like he's talking to the Lord ruler. I wonder like what is his version of God.
Mhm. Maybe say Zed can diagnose him. Diagnose his god.
Yeah. I also wrote a note at the end of part one. Oh, because at the end of part one, I guess is where they find the bones, and I was like, book one was a heist, and book two is a murder mystery.
Yep.
Yep.
That's fun genre.
Oh yeah, and the fact that Breeze was in the other army's camp, Seth's camp,
Mm.
because he supposedly like seduced that guy's daughter or something, but then it turned out he was just sent away to plant rumors about the ATM.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, where are we left off at?
Like,
Like chapter wise.
we're just
I
glossing
forgot
over
to write
everything.
the parts down.
It's
in my
this was
notes this
around
time.
chapter 11 is the end of part 1. Part 2 is 12 through 27.
I'm just kind of flipping through the book, and I'm at like the beginning of part two, just looking at my
What
notes.
chapter is that again?
Part 2 is 12.
What chapter?
12?
12.
Okay. Chapter 12.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, it was like the Marsh and Say's adventure again.
The comedic duo you never expected.
Yeah, they're like
Yeah.
each other's foils.
And
Yeah.
Say's found Kwan's record.
Mhm.
Um,
And then he's like, this is a good excuse to go back to solving the mystery because I don't actually want to be out here
hmm.
Yeah, talk to
teaching
people who
the
don't want
populace.
this.
Yeah.
I did write one thing for chapter 13 when we
Mhm.
go back to Vin and Orsir. And like the Khandra, they need very explicit like rules and orders. I was like, damn. I feel that, you know?
Yeah. Tell me exactly what you want me to do.
Then the deepness comes up again, which we are learning more about through this book, but everyone's thinking about like, oh, like remember what the Lord Ruler said? Yeah, maybe he was right about something. About stopping the deepness from like
Also,
killing the
in
population.
chapter 13, Ham had a very good quote. Like, what is a government but an institutionalized method of making someone else do our work for us?
Yeah, he has the best like
And I've
philosophical
never heard a more
comedic
accurate
quotes.
statement.
Yeah. There's a lot of really great like banter in the book so far because like the crew is back together. I'm like, this is nice between all of like, the terrible things going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he paces the book pretty good, the author. I feel like he doesn't have us down in the dumps for too long or like going like back and forth with like super fast action. He slows it down and puts in some comedy when we need it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ellen gets a Princess Diaries transformation via Tyndall.
Yeah.
Should we go a bit faster? We're already 40 minutes
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
And
So
we're
this
still
is
on part
around
2.
chapter 16-ish. That's the transfer with Ellen. So Ellen got new clothes, new hairdo. He stops talking, really unsure of himself. And then yeah, when we introduced Zane, I wrote LOL fantasy books and their different forms of the name Zane and
Like
stuff
the
with
main
Z's.
meat of part 2 was dealing with the multiple armies at their
Mhm.
gates and also finding out that there's some kind of imposter.
Yep. And then Zane is Ellen's brother, which is pretty
Sazed
big.
makes it back during part 2,
Yeah.
or was it
Yes.
part 3?
He makes it back. I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure. Yeah, so he says back in chapter 23. Chapter 22 through 26, I only had like one bullet point per chapter. I think those chapters were kind of self-explanatory.
Mhm.
And then all Rianne shows up, which is Seth's daughter, the girl that like Breeze had a fling with, even though their age gap's pretty questionable. She's like 18, but still.
Yeah, half his age or something like that.
Yeah, but then when I
We
think
found
they,
out later. They didn't do anything.
yes, true. But even like
But right
even when
now,
we had a
that's
chapter with
obvious.
Breeze things, he's still like second guessing himself. I'm like, bro, come on.
Yeah.
Like if you're second guessing yourself, bro, like
Yeah.
well, whatever.
I mean, they did ask Vin about her and Kelsey, and she's like, ew, he's ancient, but he was like 38. I thought that was funny though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
It's
do
like,
not
he was
I
a
do not like
father
that.
to me.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. I don't want their relationship like skewed in any other way. Yeah, Zane like self-harming himself just so he can't just so he can ignore the god voice in his head. Like, bro, this guy is like literally literally extremely
Yeah.
depressed and has some kind of mental illness. I hope he gets some kind of redemption at the end. Or like he has some kind of like change of character. Cuz I don't want to hate him.
Yeah.
He had a tough life and his dad sucks. So,
Yeah.
Alright,
I mean, he doesn't seem like he's not being presented, I feel, as like totally evil character, you know?
yeah.
Like I hope they could make it work.
Yeah. Very ambiguous so
He
far.
like Vin, he also needs love.
Yes. They're like, "Oh,
yeah,
no
wait,
one
I'll just put on
understands
headphones.
us."
I feel like it
Oh, that
keeps picking up your
it's not
voices.
that bad.
Yeah, a little bit.
And then so the third army, oh my god, a third plane has hit Luthadel. Is Shas Lekal. How did we pronounce his name? Ellen's friend.
Oh, one of Elle's friend,
Yeah,
Oh, Jace.
Jace, sure.
Jace Cal.
Jace
Yeah.
Lekal, yeah. And he
Yeah.
has a new species, Kolos, which are blue, really, I don't know, their skin is super stretched out and their bodies just grow massively. I don't know how to picture it. I'm scared to look up
Okay, I got
a
headphones on
picture or
Yeah.
fan art of this.
Like
Has anyone looked up
giant.
pictures of Klolos?
Yeah,
No.
they're not bad looking.
All right, let me do it real quick and then a live
What? The
reaction.
way that they're described is horrific.
Mistborn Kolos image.
Like
Oh, they
they're
just look like a
born with the
big blue
skin.
orc, really.
Yeah, like
The way that they're
I think
described
like
though is not like that.
whatchamacallit, Inquisitors would have scared me more, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not the prettiest of them all, but
You can see their insides. These guys, all their skin is like they're
ripping
born with
off,
the skin
yeah.
of a 10-foot tall thing when they're 5 feet tall and they just wear a big skin bag.
Yeah.
And then they outgrow it and then it rips.
But all of this fan art just shows like really buff, ripped, like orc type bodies. And like, yeah,
Okay,
you can
well,
see their like muscles in some cracks, but it's
that's
not
not
gory.
accurate.
Yeah, it's not gory. Yeah, to me, these sounded like horrible, like creatures, almost like scary. But the fan art just kind of makes them look like orcs. All right, I'm less scared of them now. But yeah, so Jace, quote unquote, like commandeered some Kolos. We don't know if they will
Sorry.
I'm
stay
so
loyal.
curious how that like small child of a man is controlling this army of like horrifically violent giants.
Don't know.
Especially considering he was in Ellen's little book club, and who knows what they learned there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's like when Caesar like meets him in the camp, he's like barely keeping it together.
All right. Chapter 20, when Ellen and Tindwyl are going back and forth, and he's like, "Oh, what if I can't make everything better and I'm not fit to be a king?" She literally said, "Then kill yourself," like verbatim. I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
sure."
Then perish.
Yeah. Then perish
Yeah.
meme.
Hmm.
Like, damn, she's classical, all right. Um. Oh yeah, do we
Oh,
trust
there's
Alrian yet? Oh, what were you gonna say?
There's one more quote in that section where they're Tyndall and Ellen are talking to each other, and they're start talking about Vin, and Ellen said, "Vin isn't like other women."
Yeah.
And Tyndall goes, "I think that the more women you come to know, Your Majesty, the more you'll find that statement applies to all of them."
Yo, so true, bestie.
I was
So
like,
true.
"Damn, get
That's
him."
yeah.
Attack him.
She was like, "You're
She's
so
not like
dumb."
other girls, guys. She's not
Yeah.
like
And
other
he knows
girls.
how many other girls that weren't royal.
I can fix her.
Yeah.
And Tyndall was like, "You're an idiot."
He's young. He's what, 22 now?
Elle's heart's in
23?
the right place.
It
Yeah.
is. Oh yeah, Vin to Breeze when they meet Alriane and she's like, oh yeah, she's 18. Vin's like, you're a sick man. To Breeze.
Mhm.
And then we get more Orser characterization. He's cute. I like him. He's not as like aloof as I think he is.
Well, he was quite aloof in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, it's because he serves masters, and if they don't command him to talk, he just doesn't. Which is sad. But at least Vin's not like other women.
Sorry.
He's not like
Yeah,
other masters.
he was like his heart was in the right place, but like he like couldn't even he couldn't even like think of or his theory was ska are people basically,
Yes.
and like he's very much like a on paper I can fix everything.
He's a Democrat.
Yeah, he's an academic.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
liberal.
He's
It's
like, it
like
works in theory
he like
only.
admits to, yeah, in parts of this book.
Mm.
He was like, "Yeah, I learned about all this stuff in theory, but actually, in reality, not so smooth."
I mean,
Yeah.
clearly, like he got like deposed and all that.
Hmm. Yeah, so I think it was, well, not funny, but that the fact by the end of chapter 2, they gave him that vote of no confidence. So basically, the king seat is in question. Oh, and Ellen's like, oh, great, like, we have 3 armies, and now, like, they hate me, and they don't want me as king. And then by the end of part 3, that kind of all gets resolved. And I'm not going to skip too far ahead, but I was like, oh, okay, now I know kind of why they wrapped up each part
So are we just gonna
how they
move on
did.
to part 3 now?
Yeah. Unless anyone had
I think
anything
we
else
should
for
end
the
of
first
it.
2 parts.
Okay.
It's just that Vin and Orser kind of come to an understanding, and they're not like so hostile towards each other anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's cute. They're becoming friends.
Yeah.
I like when we started to hear Orser's backstories. That's why I texted Orser just baby girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my man just he's been through it.
Mm-hmm. I feel really bad for him and the other Kendra. But
Yeah, it's not a nice existence. They do name drop interesting words later on when they're talking about that they humans belong, like the prophecies, like their conversation on prophecies and stuff like
Mhm.
that. It explains like why he thinks that humans are gonna destroy each other.
He's not wrong.
Uh,
Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
he's
clearly
not.
he's not very far off given
No,
what's
he's not.
happening.
He's
And
like,
he's like,
"We are
no, we don't
just
have to
tired
do
of
anything.
waiting."
We're just waiting yet.
Yeah.
But wait, what chapter was that actually?
I don't remember.
20, like 3 or 4 or something is where they're talking to each
Yeah.
other. Okay. Towards the end of part 2. Oh, and then Ellen goes and talks to his dad.
Mhm. And it
And then
surprisingly, well, it was going pretty not well in the beginning. But then I feel like Ellen put Vin in the hot seat. I don't really agree with what he did. I can sympathize with Vin. And basically said, "Oh yeah, well I have like a killing machine by my side," and she's like, oh, "I'm literally right here."
yeah. But it sort of was like a last ditch effort kind of thing. So it's
Yeah.
like they were trying to do something, and he was like, "Oh, seems like he kind of knows what we're trying to do." So we know that like he's got some inside info. that he like knew that this double play they were trying to set up was coming.
I just thought that he was like Straff's a smart dude, and I'm sure he like thought about all the possibilities of what Ellen would
But
like
then,
propose to him that night.
the
So
fear of
Yeah.
Vin, like,
yeah,
Yeah.
kind of overshadowed everything.
yeah, because she was
Mhm.
riding his emotions too, unbeknownst to him, because she's just that good.
Yeah. I like the beginning where she was like pretending to be not that good.
Mm-hmm.
Or like she did it so that he would
Mm.
notice and he was like, this is your ultimate Mistborn. And she's like, actually, just been lying to you the whole time.
They
And
with
then that's
oh
the
yeah,
end
go
of
ahead.
part 2.
Oh, part 2, yeah.
No, that's just the end of part 2 when
Oh, okay.
they get back and they get the letter saying that he's been deposed.
Yes. Yeah, Ellen just doesn't get good news via letters at all. Like, bro's just getting the worst news via messengers.
Yeah.
Um,
I like every kind of in general, every win he has, he then has a loss that's like twice as much.
yeah, Ellen's taken mad L's throughout this
Yeah.
whole book, really.
Hmm.
I'm looking at my chapter 30 note. They talk about the deepness some more, and then they also name drop like the world bringers. So I guess Quan, I forget if he was a world bringer. He
I
was
think
talking
as
about.
mentor part 3 is also where
Hmm.
we start to see like the tension between Tinswell and Says too.
Yeah, because
Hmm.
they're interacting more, right?
Yeah. And just that like the rest of the keepers think that Sazed's like
A
a loose
rebel.
cannon.
Yeah.
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 But then we
Which
find
is
out,
She's
crazy to me.
yeah, we find
Because
out
yeah,
she's
yeah.
that
supposed to
she
be a
looks up to
leader,
him.
right? Or something like that.
She is one of
Or
the
like
Like,
he should have
synods.
been.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's like
Well,
the
he
best
left
of the
just
best
now.
of the keepers, but he's like rebellious in their eyes because he
Just
like
crazy.
he takes too much of like an active role in the world when the keepers are
Hmm.
supposed to be very passive and just recording information.
hmm
Yeah.
And then oh yeah, I was wondering what happened to Marsh, but I asked that question already, so he's still kind of MIA. I wonder if he'll appear in the
Hmm.
later parts again. And then we meet some of the other assembly members. So Philin Frando.
In the next chapter, though, chapter 29, who knew that Orser would be the one to tell Vin, don't trust Zane, the crazy man who hears God's voice in his head.
Was he the one that said that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was him.
But to be fair, I kind of understand where she's coming from. Like Zane been whispering in her ear, like, Elle's just using you, you're just his tool. And
Yeah.
literally, as he tells her that, he uses her. It's like, not a good look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like all the like fears are being confirmed at the same time that he's like whispering in her ear.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do like, yeah, that now Orser is like, actually, here's my opinion, you're being an idiot.
Yeah, that he's opening up now and just like talks without being
Yeah.
asked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like his character too. I think I do enjoy him. Enjoy him. I do like reading about him more in dog form. He's, I guess, probably less
Hmm.
creepy if you can excuse like a talking dog. But I think
Yeah.
like a
He's
Vin and
like,
just an animal companion is cute together.
yeah. And he's getting more into the dog bones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every
He,
girl
he,
deserves a little boy.
yeah, he feeling the dog bones now. Like it lets him. What did he say? Like it lets him be more inconspicuous.
Yeah.
Yeah, if no one expects that, because like it wasn't in this part. I think it was in the first part. Like even
Yeah,
Ellen was surprised to make him into a wolf dog and was like, no one has ever done that before. And Vin is probably like, probably people have. They just don't. It's such a good idea. No one else would say it.
Yeah, I wonder how
yeah,
many other Kandra assume the form of like a non-human species. Like I wonder how or what other species Kandra have been made to take.
Mm.
I'd be a pigeon.
So you could fly. Actually, that'd be cool though.
Yeah. Right? And like you can carry messages. and shit like that. And it's so inconspicuous. Like, how many times do you remember the pigeons you've seen?
Mm-hmm. What's that like
Doggy's
conspiracy
cute
theory
too.
that like pit birds aren't real?
But I feel like a dog
Oh yeah,
lowers people's
yeah,
guards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you'll talk in
yeah.
front of it, and it's just like looking at you with its little dog eyes, not
Also,
saying anything.
pigeons are just robots made by the government,
Exactly.
obviously.
Yeah.
There you go.
Birds are not real.
Yeah.
But at the end of that chapter, Vin makes the connection that she thinks deepness is the best and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Which I would like to say, I did say that in the first book.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
would
I
like
mean,
to
Yeah,
it's like a
say,
mist-like substance. I think it was pretty.
pretty obvious.
I'm
yeah,
surprised that no one has like had this, but I guess well then she goes to talk to Sazin. He's like, yeah, actually, people have had this thought.
That's good
your boy might
because
be a chef. I'm just saying, I'm cooking all
you're
the time.
cooking.
Like,
Your theory crafting out here.
All right, so I mean, in that theory, like, who do you think is
okay, then that one I actually have no
Wait, who
theories
do we
on.
think is what?
yeah,
Unfortunately,
The
ingredient scarce.
imposter.
No cooking for
Oh,
that
yeah,
one.
no, I don't. I couldn't even remember who she had already ruled out, so I'm like not keeping too close tabs with this imposter thing till the time comes.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's just so many. It's like we don't even know for sure that it has to be one of the crew members, so
Mm-hmm.
it could be like literally
it could be
anybody. It's like probably not going to be like a random servant because this is a book, you know. But like in this world, if I were actually Vin, like it could be literally anybody.
Yeah. Um. Oh yeah, when Vin had notes, or Vin's been like researching and doing her own thing in her room all this time. So when Vin pulled out her own notes, Zed was like, "Oh, like you actually wrote those yourself?" And then she said, "Why is everyone so surprised about that?" And then he says, "It just doesn't seem your nature, Lady Vin." And then she's like, "You people have corrupted me with your writing."
Yeah, and apparently she has beautiful penmanship
Wow. When you actually gave a
because she
shit
has
when you
to
were
take
younger,
like
yeah.
yeah, because it takes her like 10 minutes to write one sentence.
Dang,
She just learned how to write.
couldn't be me.
No. But yeah, she brings up her theories about the deepness mist, and says that like people have thought of that basically, but that there wasn't like any merit to it because the mists were always there. And Vin was like, yeah, but now we don't have the Lord Ruler, so the mists are changing.
Mm-hmm. Someone needs
Um,
to stop the
I feel like
mist.
yeah, Sazed seems like he's like, yeah, I've seen some crazy shit with the mist too, like kind of on board with it, but he's also like an academic mind, so he's like, well, I can't prove anything yet, you know.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you need to go through the peer review, and
Yeah,
all that.
the scientific
The
method.
scientific method.
Of course, of
Yeah.
course.
And Vin's like, huh? I
Uh,
just read some books, and now you're
like,
telling me to do this?
but the deepness is like mist, and it's mist.
Yeah, and they
So
said mist right here.
hello. Yeah.
I will say, I still
Uh,
need to know what the Lord Ruler was doing with the Smiths. How was he holding it
yeah.
back?
Hmm.
Just yeah, his
your
mental
answers will
power.
be your questions will be answered.
I mean, I
Just say no
assume
more.
so. At the end of by the end of this book.
I guess that's true.
An-
Yeah, you can't say anything
Andrea
because you
voice from the
actually know.
future.
Yeah,
Your questions will be answered.
yeah, the big
The
booming
good thing
voice.
is that I actually forgot most of this book. I
Mm.
only remember the first and third.
Oh,
This book,
okay.
I feel most of it is a setup for the third.
The
I
third book.
think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't quote me on
Yeah.
this
So this
though,
is like
because no,
Attack on Titan season 2, where it gets all
yeah, literally,
political.
Yeah,
yeah,
the
it is.
political arc.
It's a political arc.
Got it. I mean, it's still good.
Yeah,
I
No,
like it.
it's still
political
good, but
intrigue
that's I'm
book.
like, damn, I like a lot of the things I'm like, oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense though because you set up the big
I will say, my
questions in
coworker
the
who
first
read
book.
the entire book and also is halfway through the third was like, y'all just need to finish this. This is
Yeah,
like just leading up to the best part.
Yeah.
we're
Is
get
what
we're
I
Yeah,
getting
heard.
yeah,
there.
I
yeah.
We're on
mean,
a good girl.
it makes sense because like this book is called The Well of Ascension, so I was like, oh, they're going to the Well of Ascension. Now reading the book, I was like, okay, so they're probably now setting up the reason why in the next book we're gonna have to go to the Well of Ascension.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
You
You're gonna
know,
find out what the Well of Ascension had and what it did and what the prophecy
Yeah.
Do
was,
y'all think
etc.
that Vin
yeah.
is the hero or hero adjacent?
I'm assuming,
Mm.
but there could be a twist where it's not her, and I wouldn't be too surprised if they didn't make it her, just cause. I won't
Or
be like
like,
upset if it's not.
yeah, or like I think Seiza was talking about this too later on about how like you know prophecies aren't like definite. They're like somebody made up these prophecies. So like maybe it doesn't all work necessarily the way that they described it. You know, like maybe it's not that there is specifically one hero of ages,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
there is
And
clearly still something that needs to be done and
About the
Vin seems
deepness.
like she's going to be able to do it.
I mean, even Quan was
Yeah.
saying, like, in his like record that he's like he
Mhm.
fits the prophecy, but he fits it a little bit too well. Like, so it's
Yeah,
like,
even like when he changed like something about his hair, right? And
His
the
hair turning gray
and yeah.
at the age of 25.
Like
I'm like, wow, he's really a
damn.
white-haired anime pro tag here.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
keep quiet though about your theories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
see,
Um,
I just want to read the rest of the book already. So
We're getting close. How many parts are there? 7? 6? 6 plus an
there's
epilogue?
there's 6 plus an epilogue.
Okay, so we're like
yeah,
halfway.
every time I read my side books,
And
I just think
and
about like I
Thinking.
could just know what happens
I
in
mean
Mistborn
part
already.
5 is very short. We can just merge part 5 and part 6 together and then
Oh no,
part 4
we are
that's the end of the book.
100% doing that.
Yeah.
No, but is there an epilogue
Like
with
if
6
you
There's
too?
no way
Should we
I'm
do
reading only part 5.
But should we do parts 4 and 5 and then 6 and epilogue? Or should we do 4, then 5, 6 epilogue? What makes more
4
sense?
then
feel like
5
we
6
can
and epilogue
Okay.
okay.
cuz it's
Let's see,
the
because I'm like
epilogue's not that
looking at
long.
this like the split in like my physical
Uh-huh.
book where my bookmark is now at the end of 3, and there's like a third of the book left-ish.
Okay.
So it's
Not
like
bad.
not that
We could
much
do a third in like a
left.
week.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
in a
I
week?
mean,
I
I
don't know how
could,
much time.
Easy.
but
I got other stuff to do.
I mean, I
yeah.
literally read part 3 in one day, so
Yeah, I also read part 3 in one sitting, but it was like a
Mhm.
3-ish hour sitting.
also in
Yeah.
chapter
Well, I'm
31,
busy.
fuck this villain, dude.
Oh, yeah.
It's literally the like if I like just one tier above the lowest rung, it's just like
Uh-huh.
y'all need to pull yourselves up from the bootstraps.
Yeah. He's like,
Like
I'm
that's the
not one
vibe
of
I'm getting.
those
Like,
ska. I'm not ska actually because I make
Yeah.
stuff. Or I make stuff happen, whatever
Uh-huh.
he said.
Yeah. It's like he doesn't like make things, he sells things, and
Yeah,
that's different.
totally.
yeah.
And I was not expecting Set himself to infiltrate the assembly meeting. That was a twist.
Uh-huh.
Do
That was
we
funny.
believe that he's actually crippled though, or we think it's just like a ploy?
But also, I kind of like Set low
Oh.
key. Like
He like cuts the bullshit out.
he like he's playing the game right now. You know?
When
Yeah.
did
Or is at least like he's easier to read than Straff. He's like, this is how I am, and
Mhm.
that's it, you know?
Yeah. But like not really though, technically, because like they were explaining that like he pretends he's just doing himself basically, but he has all these like secret like proxy contracts with like Luthadel and all that.
Mhm. How did they find that out again?
Mhm.
I forget.
I think they like Breeze maybe because he was there
Oh, okay. Possibly.
infiltrating.
Or I think they just had
Hmm.
someone else get intel.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But they
But
basically
yeah, I think
leave
he's
his
had a
meeting.
hand in Lucidel for
Yeah.
a while.
Ellen's like,
Yeah.
"Now we're not giving the city to you."
But
You
also,
know?
canning is like a new technology. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it would be for this like fantastical setting.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't have like electricity.
They don't even have like pure magic either.
I got to be fair. I guess it's
Yeah.
fair. Yeah.
And they have because they rely on slave labor, so they don't need technology.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
even up the river, they
Yeah,
have
that was
like
crazy.
slaves pulling the boat up the
Yeah,
river or
pulling
While
whatever. Yeah.
boats.
walking. That was crazy.
Uh-huh.
I thought you'd have slaves rowing the boat. Like, now we're just gonna have a bunch of men walking the boat down the canal. Jeez.
Pulling it on ropes. Yeah.
Alright, chapter 33-ish. They're trying to narrow down the imposter still, so is this where she talks to Doxin and, like, was trying to rule him out? Possibly.
Also, in this part, though, we also see why Dox
Mm.
gives Elle such a hard time.
Yeah, because he still hates
Uh,
nobles.
because if he forget or he accepts that Elle is like a good person, that means that every single noble he killed that might have not been that bad makes him like an evil person, basically.
He did murder people. I mean, a lot of the people in this book have murdered
Which
people.
kind of it makes sense, like, like
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
get where he's coming from, for sure. But at least he's nice to Elend and some of the other folk.
Yeah,
He's civil with them.
he's better than Cal. Although
Yeah.
even Cal got better at the end. Like you can't
Well, at the
just
very end.
yeah, very end.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just see the world as black and white.
One of
yeah,
his
I mean,
last
like Kel
acts was
and
just
Dox were
saving
like
Elend,
the
so.
only good nobles, a dead noble, like type vibe, like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alright, and what else?
Is this the one where Sir reveals a little bit more about Kandra society?
Yeah, he's been going
yeah,
going
and
through
like
that.
the
Yeah.
Kandra
This
religion
is
is
where he
like
talks about their prophecy.
probably the only like religion that has uh existed like that the Lord Ruler
Oh
has
yeah.
not like pretty
Hmm.
much like crushed, basically.
Yeah. She was like, "You should tell Sazed about this. He would be really into it."
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Yeah,
That a religion
there's
survived during that. Yeah.
and they're closely related to Kolos too.
Mm-hmm.
I am very curious
Oh
about the
yeah.
Cullists, like what's their whole deal? Like also how did that weak philosophy boy
Yeah.
Conquer them?
Where have
convince
they
them
been
Yeah.
this whole
like
time? And
20,000 of them
yeah.
to like march on Luthadel? Like
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out. So, I mean, they
Very
were just like
interesting.
vibing in their own society in like the forest or some other part, is what I'm assuming.
Didn't the Lord Ruler make them as like a failsafe too?
The
So
Lord Ruler made them?
You
Oh, I don't know if we got that.
like I think in the
I don't think
first book they mentioned
he
he
like
has Kolos
harnessed them.
army.
He like can
Oh,
command them.
yeah, in
I
case
don't think
like
he
he
made
can't
Yeah.
them.
quell them with
Yeah.
normal law and order. Yeah, he'll just set the
So
Colossus loose.
maybe he pretended to be with the Lord Ruler and say like, "Hey, he's called the alarm."
Oh, to get him
Like,
to follow. That could be true.
yeah, maybe though. I
Ooh.
really don't remember this part at all.
All right, chapter 34. Elend
Yeah.
is too good of a legislator that he can't weasel his way out of his own laws. That was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, God damn it, I'm a genius.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then this is before we got that like Tindwyl Sazed like romantic tension, but I think Tindwyl said something to insulting to Sazed, and Ellen's like, you could either apologize to Sazed or get out of this room, and then she just literally left the room. She's like, alright, I'm
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Damn.
Let me get
Oh yeah,
more.
there's a
Mhm.
quote from like Ellen's point of view in this section where he's trying to like fix the government. He says, each of the 23 assemblymen had their own thoughts, goals, and problems. That was what Elland had intended. Ideas proliferated in such an environment. He just hadn't expected so many of their ideas to contradict his own.
Oops. Oopsies.
I was like, yeah, this is
Wow, different
why
people
politics doesn't work.
can't agree. Crazy.
I can't believe all these other selfish people don't believe what I believe. But Elland is a
He's
a good man,
naive.
and he won't break his own laws. So,
Yeah.
He's too
I
nice.
will say I did love the philosopher boys doing some research together,
mhm.
You got
except for
books
Ham
everywhere.
does not like reading.
Yeah.
Tyndall had a quote: "A man can only stumble for so long before he either falls or stands up straight." I'm like, that's a good
Do
quote.
y'all think that Zane will convince
Man.
Vin to join him, I guess?
I don't think he's gonna be successful, but he's definitely
No.
trying his best and his hardest.
Mm.
But that's why I
I
was
mean, I
saying
don't think
I
that
hope he gets
she'll.
redeemed.
Yeah, I don't think she'll like join him as long as he's working for Strath and like trying to do that. But I think like it seems like he will be successful in making her doubt her position with the others and like her relationship with Elland. I think she'll go through like a period of that.
No, for sure, yeah. I mean, to be fair, Elle's not making it easy. Keeps using her reputation, basically to elevate himself. So,
Hmm.
Hmm.
But it's also like they have a communication issue because he doesn't know that she's having this internal like turmoil
Yeah, but she's not
thing
saying it
going on, and
either.
he's like,
mm,
yeah, and he's like trying to save the kingdom and the government, and he thinks that that's like important. So it's like if she wasn't having these thoughts, I think the things that he's doing wouldn't be such a like large issue between them. But like he doesn't
mm,
know that she's having this whole thing going on, and that everything he's doing to try and save the government is like exacerbating all of that.
yeah.
Very Shakespearean.
Hmm. All right, we'll get to that. There's one chapter where it's from like Breeze's point of view though. So we see his own like inner turmoil as like his elementic powers and like the pros and cons of it.
Mm,
Um
yeah, that was really interesting. We
yeah.
haven't gotten his like perspective on it
Yeah,
yet.
he always like seemed like kind of like a player to me and like
I feel
a
like it's
doesn't care kind of dude.
Elle
Yeah.
doesn't even he can't even fathom that that's what's bothering Vin, basically. Because he seems so excited that Vin being so powerful scared his dad and all that stuff. He's like, "Are you okay?" And all that stuff.
Mhm. Yeah. I think yeah, he's like very I mean like the like stunt he pulled like worked. I think he's like riding a high of that.
And then he pulls
Yeah,
an
And
even bigger
obviously has no
stunt at the
idea.
end.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously has no idea that that is like really
that's one of Vin's
taking an
insecurities.
emotional
Is that
toll on Vin. Yeah.
is that he doesn't love her. He loves
For
what she
power.
can do for him, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is why you gotta communicate in your relationships.
But also, to be fair, Vin could tell him that. It's not
Yeah.
just on Elle.
But I think she's worried about
No,
being
no,
rejected
it's
again if she tells him like, "Hey, I actually don't
Because
feel
we all know
comfortable."
Elle, good man, dumb as shit. Like,
yeah. It's not gonna read it. But
Yeah, he's
it's
not
like Vin
street
also
smart.
has like trauma for being rejected by people. So it's just like everybody's
yeah.
having a tough time.
I mean, she's still here, even though she knows her brother protected her in the end. She still
Yeah.
hears him telling her, "Don't trust anyone," all that
Yeah,
stuff.
he pops
So
back up.
Hmm.
But I think even she even had like self doubts and stuff when Well, I'm like skipping towards the end now, but we're kind of there anyway. When Ellen, I guess, comes up with a plan with one of the other crew members, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you." She's like, "What do you mean? Like, he always discusses this with me, blah blah blah." She feels that
Oh
like
yeah.
her usefulness is the only thing keeping Ellen tied to her, so she also doesn't want to admit that as well. So that's part of the reason why she
Hmm.
doesn't come out and say like, "Oh, I'm not comfortable with you using me as like a trump card kind of thing."
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so towards the end, we find out Demo is a
Trauma.
member of the Church of the Survivor when Vin tells him when she was assuming
Hmm.
that he might be the imposter, which I guess he kind of still could
Mm-hmm.
be, right? Um,
Yeah, I guess it seems like less likely though if he's doing all this, like
yeah. Suspicion goes
going
down,
as
but
out of his way to do this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
um, and yeah, and then at the end,
I feel like though
finally,
Elle does not realize that this is like one of her worst fears.
yeah. Wait, didn't she even say that
That
that was
like
one of
Uh,
her worst fears too?
using her reputation and like
yeah.
basically using her and like that he doesn't love her, he loves what she can do for him is like
I don't think
such a
she
big
knows that
deal.
that's like a fear of hers, maybe at all. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know if she's ever talked about that.
Yeah.
Probably. Um, yeah. So then what
Vin
happened after
confronts
that?
him at the end.
Oh yeah.
And then I guess the plan that Ellen had when it came time to vote for the new king, um, which it can. Did we find out who sent those like assassins basically, or no? Because the chapter kind of just ended right there, right?
We also get to see more of
Yeah.
Breeze's mindset and like why he is the way he is. And also like
Hmm.
why he's not good with women. Everyone always assumed
Yeah. Or like other people in
Mm-hmm.
he
general.
just has no riz. But it's just that he
Actually has
doesn't
too much Riz.
Yeah,
he has
he's afraid of
too much
using it.
riz and he just can't tell
Yeah.
if they love him or
Or they love his Riz.
they love his riz. Yeah.
Yeah. We also find out he did not have sex with that young girl.
Yeah, that's just where they
Yeah,
confirmed it,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Important.
Important note, disclaimer.
Important note. Yeah.
And we also learned that
Which was
she
annoying.
also is a rioter and
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's right.
is making Breeze
Feel some sort of way.
little more
Hot and
little
bothered.
more a little more hot and bothered. Yeah.
Yeah. Um yeah, but that was interesting, like Breeze's point of view. We didn't get to see that in the last book.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. And like the way that he uses his soothing like so intricately is
Yeah.
really cool.
And also not just intricately, like instinctively. Like
Yeah.
he can't even control when he does it. It's just like a part of who he is, basically.
He's
Hmm.
it ain't easy being that Rizzy, you know?
Oh my god.
It ain't
That's
easy
his
being
quote.
breezy. Ayo.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh. Yeah,
But
exactly.
is that
do you
why his
guys
name is
agree
Breeze?
with what Bree says? That being able to like soothe someone's emotions is basically the same as doing anything else that will like manipulate someone to do what you want them to do.
I
Well, the
mean,
thing is that,
mhm.
sure, but he has an extra edge over the average person.
Oh no, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he also makes the point that like just because you can make someone feel a certain way doesn't mean they'll do anything if you can't understand like what they're currently feeling, right?
Yeah, it's all within
Like how is that
context.
any different than kind of just like saying what people want to hear, basically?
Yeah. It's like a different
Yeah, his is on
I
like a
he also
deeper
like
level.
yeah, makes the point that like he can't like he can't make emotions appear. Like anything that he makes someone feel is something that they already existed within them. He can just like make it stand out more. I think it's a gray area, obviously. Um, I think this is probably a question that like Ham would love to debate with him for
Yeah.
several hours.
What are the ethics of soothing other people?
Hmm.
I will say I always assumed that like soothing, rioting is basically like like manipulative. But when he explained it, it really isn't that much more manipulative than like anything else you could do that like saying what people want to hear, showing them what they want to see. Like, is that not
Hmm.
basically the same? Like, you still have to understand what they want, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I
like
mean,
giving
like,
him a
I think it's
nudge.
true that there's ways, like, you can, in our real, like, reality where we all live, not in this book, you can manipulate someone emotionally without magic. So I think it's, like, not so far from that. Like, there are people who are just really, really good at it, like, using their words or
Persuasion.
actions to
Yeah.
make you feel a certain way.
I guess the
So it's
question is,
not
can
like
Breeze achieve what he wants to achieve without soothing? Because if no one else can do it, then yeah, it's different than just manipulating someone.
But can't you say the same thing about pretty privilege?
Well,
But he can turn his
You know what I
soothing
mean?
off,
Like,
right? But
it's
someone can't
something
turn
that
their face
only
off.
they probably have. No one else can copy it or even try to get it, basically. Is that not the same?
I mean, you're right. You're kind of right. Except you can pretty privileged. You can appear not as pretty, I guess. Anyway, yeah, I see what your point. I
Right?
mean, I don't disagree with him completely. All I'm saying is, okay, because like in a way, right? In the beginning of the first book, when
Yeah.
when Vin like was trying to soothe her way through deals and everything like that, and she was the lucky charm of what's his name?
Cameron.
mm,
Like
Cameron,
like
yeah.
no, the previous crew,
Yeah,
remember? The one who
Cameron,
beat her
yeah,
up?
the one.
Common.
Oh, Cannon, yeah, I heard
Cameron, yeah,
Hammond was
yeah,
the
yeah.
um, she couldn't have done that without soothing.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, it's not something like other people could do.
Technically, yes. But also, not everyone can be objectively pretty. You know what I mean? Like,
But I
Mm.
think the
But there are
difference,
like
yeah.
people who like can. I guess like Vin couldn't have done that without her soothing, but like there's probably someone who could have done that without soothing. Like that is a
yeah,
skill that could be learned, like emotional manipulation or whatever.
no, for sure. Yeah,
Vin couldn't have
that's
done
what I
it,
mean.
but
It's like
someone probably could
it's
do
just
it.
like an easier path to manipulating someone, but is it any different than any other method of manipulation, basically?
I mean, he can manipulate for good reasons, like he was soothing the crowd of like refugees. Not
Mhm.
he wasn't manipulating them to like do something. He was just trying to manipulate their emotions in a calmer state, which is, some people can do that too without powers. But for him, it's just like it makes it easy because he can just like blanket soothe the entire like warehouse and not have to like
Yeah,
talk to people individually to like calm them down, like Zed was trying to do.
And clearly,
yeah,
it's caused Breeze many issues in his life that he can't even trust himself.
yeah, or how people feel
Hmm.
about him.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why he had
Yeah,
that
I think
inner
it seems like
turmoil.
a double-edged sword to some extent.
yeah.
All right, now we're
Um,
at the Zed X Twin Duel chapter.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's like mad at him that he's such a rebel, but also she's like, give me a reason to
Yeah.
stay.
But she also envies him too. She mentioned that she wishes she could do that,
Yeah.
but
I will say I reread that part like twice
just it's very short too.
because
Mhm.
my boy says like
That's nice.
I feel him. You just don't unless they tell you straight up. You just don't know.
Hmm. Yeah,
But also
Yeah.
because like all the smut we've been reading, way too easy.
yeah.
Way too
It's not hitting
easy.
as hard as this is, honestly.
Like
Yeah.
let some tension build up. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
This is true, or this is
Yeah.
closer to enemy to lovers than the other book was.
Yeah. Actually.
I mean, they went from enemy to lovers in like 20 pages.
Yeah. Here it
I
was
can't
like
Yeah.
even
20
consider
years.
Fourth Wing enemies to
Yeah.
lovers.
Yeah,
That's
that's
not
why
even
when
an.
they that's not the
That's like
genre.
that's kind of
It's like
like kind of
strangers
don't
to
like each
lovers.
other to fuckers. Like
Yeah.
No lovers involved.
because
Yeah.
like also
Yeah.
when we see his point of view, it's just like oh my god,
She's
like
so
I
hot, but
want to
she's so
like
stupid.
put her against the wall. I'm just like bruh, her mom literally murdered everyone in your family.
Yeah.
It's like all can
Like
be forgiven.
like why are y'all so
Hot.
horny? Like
Yeah, the world
I say
building in
that
this is
as
better.
I like literally pre-ordered Next Storm, but like
But you can appreciate now that you know what good tension is. You can go back and say like, yeah,
I'm
this
gonna
isn't the
read the next
best.
one
Yeah,
just to see
it's
if it
enjoyable.
gets any better.
I highly doubt that's gonna get better. People buy those books for that reason, and I don't think she's gonna change up
But
her
also to
formula.
like confirm my theory, because
Yeah.
I think Violet's second signet, I think I'm right.
Oh yeah, I do want to find out what that is. I'll get the TLDR
Hmm.
when you
I know,
when
yeah,
you
I'll let
guys
you
read
know.
it.
I'll let you know. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
just let me know like if there's any more world building, to be honest.
Yeah. Do they unlock any more
Yeah.
powers or
Do you
lore?
think there's gonna be more world building?
They're like, oh my god, the Baron was
A
where the
part of
evil
me like
people
really
were.
hopes that it's all Zayden's point of view
I can't believe it.
and just like disregard Violet for like a whole book. But like
No,
Yeah,
I
she got
also
the
though
dragons
that
though.
scares me because I feel like that would make Zayden worse. Like I feel like the only reason that Zayden is okay is because like
We're not in his head.
we like Yarls is not writing him that much.
oh, that's
And
true.
I'm worried that
Yeah.
if she writes him more, it's gonna ruin it.
Is it gonna be every chapter about her clever mind and like how intelligent she is and
Yeah, exactly.
ah shit, you're right.
Like
Yeah.
he already makes me mad just for liking Violet. So
There was
anyway, wrong
literally there
book.
was
Yeah.
one
Anyway,
scene
Ellen and Vin, a
in that
superior
entire book
OTP.
that was like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, for 1 second.
Okay, back to Mistborn.
Yeah. Back
Uh
to
But anyway,
back to Leave the Bell. But yeah.
love for Sazed. Not all love is about sex, and
Hooray.
I hope that he lives happily ever after.
Hooray.
I will say I love my boy Say said like
He's so good.
he's given all the ace people out here some representation.
Yeah,
Best
for
guy.
real. Best boy. I also like that once she decides to say, Tyndall says, "This rubbing you found, well, perhaps it merits further study before I depart." And I was like, "Wow,
Wink
they're nerd
wink.
Yeah.
flirting."
Yeah, I was right. This is how two scholars flirt. I like it.
Yeah.
That was my
Yeah,
note.
it was very cute. Yeah, that was nice. That was
Yes.
a nice,
I don't know.
nice little
I
soft
love their
bit.
dynamic. Just so much like in between the lines.
Do you think Vin ships them
Even
too?
though like the last part where it's just like give me a reason to not
Yeah.
go. And that's literally what it took for him to be like, uh yeah, maybe you should stay, you know, like
Yeah, that wasn't even a reason. He was just like, no, yeah, you could stay if you want to, I guess. She's like, okay, cool.
Listen, I don't want to like push you or anything, but like
he's like,
if you
you can
wanted
stay
to.
if you want to.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then like the fade to black, like kind of ending to that scene. Like oh,
Mhm.
it was it's like in Persona
Now they're
3
gonna
where it's
study
like
really hard.
yeah, I forget what like when you get up to the social links in Persona 3 on like the original and it's like, oh, like you spent a night in like so and so's room. I'm like, oh, what were you doing in their room? You know,
Unspecified night.
unspecified activities. You know,
Yeah.
just studying the rubbing of Quan, a philosopher of, you know, eras past, obviously.
Ancient time.
All right,
Yeah.
last chapter though. So now they're at the vote for the new king at the assembly, and there's a big crowd, and I guess a good amount of security detail. And then shit just hits the fan.
How did y'all feel about
Yeah.
Penrod being voted king?
I guess it could be worse, but it's not
Yeah.
Ellen, so. But we don't know too much about
Y-
Penrod either to know if he's like a good dude at heart, like truthfully, or if he's just like sides with Ellen for like logical reasons.
Yeah. I think he's like like, an old blood aristocracy type. But I don't think he's like tyrannical, but I think he's like, let's go back to the good old days
Yeah,
kind
let's
of
Oh no, yeah,
dude.
enslave the
make
Yeah,
Scot.
America great again. You know,
great
Yeah.
like
again.
Make
Make
Luthadel great
Luthadel
again.
Mala.
he's like
Yeah,
he's like,
exactly.
Ska,
Wow.
they're humans, but
They
like they're not like
they
us
want to
humans.
be slaves.
You know,
This is what they
Yes,
desire.
okay.
it's giving like epigenetics, like
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
like their skulls are like
They were born to be this way.
yeah.
Um,
To be fair though, it's not just him. It's also like the the merchants, like Philin and all them, like they're like,
mhm,
we're not like the lowest. We're like, we're middle class.
Yeah, which makes us better.
yeah, yeah, which means we need someone to subjugate. So
Yeah.
that means we need a lower class.
Yeah.
Let's get back to it.
And that's why class-based society sucks.
Yep.
Yeah. Why yeah, the class war is the real problem. Come
Next
together,
time, man.
etc.
Mistborn.
Yeah.
Next time on Mistborn, class relations and how the government keeps us poor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Um,
god.
yeah, but anyway, so assassination attempt.
So it happens
Uh,
after the vote comes out, right?
But also,
Or no?
Elle being very turned
yeah.
off by like
Yeah.
Vin just like one shotting people's heads off. Little bitch, like
He hasn't seen anyone. He hasn't seen
I'm just
bloodshed. He's
saying,
a noble.
like
I'm not saying he's
Yeah.
not, a little bitch, but
Yeah.
he is rightly traumatized
your girl
or
just like
grossed
popped
out.
off someone's head.
Yeah. And the blood splatters
Yeah.
on you. Like, yeah, that's a little traumatizing.
Yeah. But it's also the thing of that he's like been, he used that as the trump card and now he's like seeing
Yeah.
for the first time for real like what that actually looks like
Hmm.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
is like, wow, I
He
didn't
fucked around and now
actually
he's finding out.
think he's like, I didn't think that through all the way to the end
Like what it
Yeah.
means for Vin to
of
be like
the
a killing
reality of
machine.
that. Yeah. Um,
When she poked the thug's
but
eye out though, I was like, oof, oh my god.
yeah,
The skill.
but she makes it through without ATM.
Surprising.
I mean, she technically kills
Yeah,
like what is it
like 6 people. I don't
like
know, so
six
many.
people without ADM and like low key like barely like any medals. Like
Yeah, she burns up some at some point with like Duralumin,
she
and then she has
Hmm.
to like
she
get some
burns
more.
all
She
of
like
the
has
pewter to like absorb a hit. And then Orser
yeah.
comes in and he's just like, haha,
Yeah.
He's
I
like,
got
remember
more.
my skin pocket
My
that I
pouch.
have?
Yeah. He's so cute. He's
Aw,
like when
cute little
Donald Duck
doggy with
tries
his skin pocket.
to give you a cure, but you're like dying, and he like just barely makes it in time. You're like, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. So the assassination attempt goes first, and then they go back to Penrod's like mansion or whatever and have the vote.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then apparently like
Oh.
everyone flipped sides to like vote for Penrod.
They realized
Yeah.
that splitting the vote wouldn't win. Haha. There is
Yeah.
no third choice.
And then
Very timely.
yeah, and then that's it.
And then the
Penrod, new king.
last scene where he just like what's the right adjective?
Do you all think Penrod is the imposter or nah?
I don't think
Just
so.
because he doesn't really hang around Ellen that much at home. I mean, in his keep, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's
But
really
like,
just
I
like
mean, it's not off the table. But
No.
it's
I don't
Yeah,
think they would
yeah.
make him
the
though, because they
number
kind
one
of
choice, I
only
think.
introduced him in this book as well, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the visual of Ellen just like handing Penrug the crown, like, yeah, you'll need this, and then just walks out. Like, dang, I feel so bad for
Mhm.
Ellen.
He's like,
So
yeah, here, have this government that I fully made up from the ground. And then,
But it's like, have
so
fun dealing
Penrod
with the
really
three
just like,
armies.
you know, old money,
yeah, true.
Nepo baby, like
Uh-huh.
he's not as
But
bad as the other people, you know, like
But he's not a free
you know,
thinker to
like
me.
they're
He
not
definitely will go with
completely
whatever
yeah.
bad
people tell
people,
him.
but they're at least a little bit.
I mean, he's gonna hand the kingdom over to one of the armies, right? Like that was always
Oh,
Probably.
what they
for
wanted
sure.
to do.
Unless
Yeah,
Ellen
yeah,
can
yeah.
convince
It's
Penrod
just
otherwise. But Penrod
baby
definitely just seems
Jason.
like a kind of puppet. He's
Unless
just
Penrod
there.
goes mad with power and it's
Yeah.
just like
Nah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you need to see more
But
of
that
Penrod.
brings us to part 4, which is called Knives. So
Oof. Knives
that
out?
sounds fun.
Knives out.
Yeah. Time, everybody. Um,
hasn't Miana just like been muted this entire time? Like
What?
no,
Oh, did Lewis
No,
mute me
no,
by
no.
accident?
wait,
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
oh my god. I apparently had Miana muted this entire
Okay,
time.
that makes sense because I was saying
Wait.
some stuff and then you would just like talk over and I wasn't sure if like you heard me
I
the
am
first
so
time.
sorry.
It's
Yeah,
alright.
I was so confused. Like I'm just like, why is Miana not talking this entire time?
Yo, that's hilarious.
Wait, when did you stop
Oh,
listening? When did you stop hearing her?
Like I think towards the beginning. Like
Damn.
What?
oh, when you're
This whole
16.
time?
I no, no, this
Wow.
entire time I thought Miana was just not talking.
Dang.
I am so sorry.
Damn.
That's
That's
funny.
okay. I'm glad we worked that out though, because I'm like, dang, Lewis is just like bringing up a point that I talked about like 5 minutes ago. I was like, I
I
wasn't
am
sure
so
if he
sorry.
was hearing me.
I am so
I thought you
sorry.
were like,
Yeah.
you just are circling back on it.
No, because sometimes I would say stuff and I'm just like, why does everyone sound like it already got like talked about? And I'm
Oh
just
no.
like,
Alright, mystery solved.
That makes
okay,
a lot of
yeah, yeah,
sense. Wow.
Alright.
We were having our own mystery here in the chat.
And the mystery was Discord fucking up again.
Yeah.
yeah.
But alright, so
Yeah.
we're gonna read part 4 for next time.
And
Right?
and epilogue.
It's only about 100 pages, so it should be pretty quick.
Yeah, we could do it next weekend. Maybe Monday because it's Labor Day.
True.
Or
Yeah, true.
I'm post call on Sunday. So unless it was a terrible day, that could work too. Or I might be asleep. I'm not sure.
We have a concert on Saturday night, so I'm not sure how sleep will be on Sunday.
Um, yeah, I might be working on Monday. I haven't gotten this holiday schedule yet. But we could set a tentative time and I'll let y'all know. But we can take this discussion off stream.
That's right.
Yes.
Alright, well, thank you guys for joining our parts 1 through 3-ish book club. And, oh yeah, we never discussed the quote. I was just like, oh yeah, that like Jay-Z quote like rings a bell, so then I used it. So, quotes to Jay-Z. on the graphic.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
What's a king to a god? What's a god to a non-believer? For those who aren't looking at the graphic. But I was like, yeah, that makes sense, because they're talking about the Lord Ruler and gods and religion and kings, and I'm like, makes sense, makes sense. So we'll see
Okay.
what part 4 is all about. Maybe I'll put a Knives Out quote. But yeah, thanks for sticking around. All right, we're gonna shut off the stream, and next book club date and time will be announced in the about.